if I may want to look at alcohol and its impact or effects, okay, one, I could look at it from different perspectives. One, health effects of alcohol, health effects. Okay, like I said, a lot of researches have also shown that high alcohol consumption may be associated with diseases like cancers, like stomach or what you call gastric cancers. It's been linked to alcohol. Liver disease and cancers has also been linked to alcohol. Some heart diseases has also been linked to alcohol. Okay, so one could say that alcohol, okay, may cause some untoward health effects. So you can look at it from that angle. Okay, now when you look at it on livelihood and people's life, because of the effects of alcohol causing dependence and addiction, okay, alcohol is not an acceptable social drink when one is engaged in an activity that requires a lot of attention and a lot of carefulness, like driving. Is the reason why you now see that in terms of traffic regulations, we say that when you want to drive, don't drink, and when you drink, don't drive. So you can see that alcohol use, abuse of alcohol or misuse of alcohol could lead to road traffic accident increase. So one could say that a lot of our drivers, commercial drivers, long distance drivers, tends to get themselves high and kept with alcohol intake, and therefore you see them taking alcohol, but you can now see that it's associated with a risk of accidents. So from that angle you could say, oh, alcohol, if you are going to be involved in driving people and all that, you should stay away from alcohol. We have also seen that alcohol in town hall meetings, in community meetings, in family settings, when people take alcohol, before you know it, there is quarrel, there is fight, there is this, there is that. So you could say that it could also increase the level of violence. Okay, so of course, these are some of the untoward effects of alcohol. And it also puts an economic burden on whoever uses it. Some persons, because of alcohol, if they don't drink in a day, they cannot survive. They feel that the world has collapsed, okay? And therefore, a certain amount of their income is dedicated every day for drinking. So you can see that it's an economic burden. So if you are saved from the, taking of alcohol, you could also save money. And most when they take alcohol, they declare for friends, they declare for this and all that, and before you know it, they get impoverished. So you can see that there's also an economic burden to it. Okay. Now, of course, when people are high and they take alcohol, you could have marital disagreements, marital stress, fights, disharmony in the family, and all that. And the wife will always say, this is my husband. He will go out in the morning. He will not come till late in the night. Where is him? He's in the bar. He's taking alcohol and all that. So you could have a lot of social and relationship issues as a result of misuse of alcohol. I call it misuse because when you take it up to a certain level and beyond a certain level, it now begins to impair on your judgment and therefore becomes a misuse. Okay? Sometimes it's supposed to be a social drink or social product has become a source of concern. And also, we've also seen that it can lead to mental health problems. Of course, when people now become alcohol dependent, they can no longer do without taking alcohol, and you find them each day doing binge drinking. They collapse, they fall on the road, they involve in so many things and all that, and it has become a source of mental health concern. So it could lead to depression, it could lead to anxiety, it could lead to other mental health problems that are also associated with substance abuse. So, and also when people indulge in alcohol, excessive use of alcohol to be precise, they're also prone to other mental health challenges, okay? And they also begin to do other substance abuse. So which means people that abuse alcohol are also at higher risk of abusing other substances, other hard substances, heroin, okay, and all what have you, other hard substances that are not supposed to be abused. So you have that tendency to abuse it. So that's what I would say. Now coming to the yes, it also increases tendency to indulge in criminal activities for some persons because they lose their sense of judgment, basically, and it's a mental health problem. Okay, you see somebody carrying gun and killing other people, he has a mental health problem. So alcohol could actually lead to a mental health challenge. So these are some of the issues. Okay, especially irrational use of alcohol or what you call misuse of alcohol. It can lead to substance abuse and all that, and it can trigger all manner of mental health challenges. Okay, so no wonder too. Well, one could say, the government just wake up now and say, oh, we want to ban it and all that, especially the small sachets of alcohol and all that. So one can look at it from the point of regulation of alcohol use. Not that we are banning alcohol intake, but regulation of it. So one could say, okay, regulation of it may not be a bad idea. It may not be a bad idea. It could be because when alcohol is sold in sachets and small liquors and bottles and all that, it becomes easily accessible. So banning sachet alcohol and small bottles of alcohol could reduce accessibility, especially to everybody, so that it should be a substance that is under some form of control, okay? And then people should take it on social grounds and regulated, okay? And it's difficult for someone to go and buy a big bottle of alcohol and start to consume, but it's easy to pick a sachet, a small bottle, put in your top pocket, and you walk away on the steering, anywhere you are, driving, operating, doing one thing or the other. It can impair your judgment. So I think it's not a bad idea, okay, to regulate the alcohol use in our society. I think it could help in also reducing abuse of or misuse of alcohol, especially by minors and people who are not supposed to, you do it at that level. And it also regulates, even for people who use it, it regulates it. Because by the time you think of going to buy the big bottle of alcohol and all that, you might actually control your appetite. You might actually control what you buy and all that. And then you leave it for social gatherings and all that. So I think it may also help in regulating and the abuse of alcohol. All hands must be on deck. It is not something that should be left to the doctors alone, to the health workers alone, the journalists, the media houses, the churches, okay, community groups, play groups, peer groups, and all that. Everyone, non-governmental organizations and all that, should be involved in enlightening the public on health-related issues and also telling them the adverse effects of misuse of alcohol and other substances. And one important thing we have also noticed is that most people that misuse alcohol tend to misuse other substances. So once you correct alcohol misuse and all that, you are likely more to also ensure that most other substance abuse and misuse are also curtailed. So that will help the society and we'll have a healthy and a well society that is everybody is happy and living in good health.
So you need to consider that what does alcohol, whatever negative effects alcohol may have on the body, the higher the concentration in percentage of the alcohol, the worse off the effect. So for example, alcohol in high concentration has negative effects on almost all the organs of the body. All right, let's talk about the liver. Alcohol intake, especially the high percentage alcohols, goes and damages the cells of the liver, causing those cells of the liver to have what we call cirrhosis. Cirrhosis is a situation where the cells of the liver are actually destroyed because they are almost as if they are attacked. So it's like injury. So they form a wound internally. It becomes a scar when it tries to heal. And once you have scar tissue in the liver, it's not able to do the work that normal tissue would do. Because the liver is very important, mostly for getting toxic materials and waste products and passing them through the entire, excretory system for it to be passed out by the kidney through different methods. If your liver is damaged, it is obvious that function cannot. So you have people with liver cirrhosis, end-stage liver disease, and so on and so forth, because of alcohol. Now, the other thing is that alcohol has also been linked to cancers. So because when you talk about risk factors for cancers, you cannot mention those risk factors without talking about tobacco and alcohol. And this alcohol we are talking about is not where somebody takes one small glass of wine once in 3 weeks or once a year or once in 6 months. No, we're talking about alcohol content that its regularity and in its percentage, it's enough to actually start to cause negative effects on the body. Alcohol also affects the heart. It affects the spleen. It affects the gastrointestinal tract. Name it, alcohol has a negative effect. I'm not even talking about how it changes the character of the person. So that somebody who was naturally maybe calm, easygoing, is now a person who is a quarrelsome, who is ready to fight, who causes some mayhem, and then when the intoxication reduces, the person says, what did I do? How did I take a knife and stab my wife or my husband or my friend? Or, so all those behavioral things are there. Now, what I think that is happening with NAFDAC, and which we are very excited as public health physicians about, is that these sources of alcohol, the ones that they put in sachet that are spirits, there are a couple of problems with it that have been noted. The first thing is that it is a cheap source of intoxication. Cheap source. So that, for example, you will probably need, I don't know how much a bottle of beer, I don't drink, so I don't know how much a bottle of beer costs, but you will need to pay money for a bottle. With a fraction of that, you can buy one tiny sachet or 2 or 3 sachets and down it. So for the small amount of money you are getting, you have a high value of intoxication. So it's popular. Commonly popular. So you have drivers, for example, who many long distance drivers and even short distance drivers, it is a favorite for them. And they will just go small money and then they will drink it even in the morning. It's their breakfast. They say it gingers them and keeps them alert to drive, but it also intoxicates and impairs their ability to do their driving properly, leading to accidents and loss of lives and all of that. So it's cheap and delivers high intoxication. So that's a challenge. The other challenge about it is that it's completely unregulated. So what anybody is concocting and putting inside that waterproof, nobody knows. You will think what you are drinking is just alcohol. You don't know what you are drinking. Is it alcohol? Is it methanol? I'll tell you a story. Many years ago in this state, I was part of a team that investigated strange episodes of death. People were just, especially young people, they were just, they would manifest strange symptoms and they would just die. In this state. And that team came together, and by the investigation, we found out that it was methanol poisoning. Methanol is a variant of alcohol, but it is very dangerous to the human body, especially when taken in high quantities. So we found out that these young people, they thought they were drinking burkutu or whatever it is, local gin, only to find out that it was laced with methanol and it was causing them to just die strange death. It was a very scary thing. We thought, is it Ebola? It was methanol poisoning. So I'm saying that story to refer back to the fact that nobody knows, it's unregulated, what they are packaging in that thing. You will think it is maybe like dry gin or whatever. You open and drink it, you don't know that maybe that thing has been laced with methanol. Nobody knows. Nobody goes anywhere to say, I want to license my sachet of alcohol. Like you have to license sachet of pure water or whatever. And so NAFDAC is saying we don't even want this at all. Can we just put a stop to this? Beer, for example, irrespective of how anybody feels about beer, it is labeled. It is coded. You know the percentage alcohol. You can trace it back to the source, who produced, who manufactured. If anything happens, you know the legal framework for getting back to the originators of it. You don't have any clue at all with what is sachet. So you can have issues with it. You have no idea who to hold responsible, what to do about it. It's a very dangerous trend. It has been for a while. And so we in public health are super excited that Nafdac is not just saying this, but hopefully will enforce it come 2026. I'm sure Nafdac is doing public awareness. That is why the announcements are everywhere. That's why we're even having this conversation, because we heard that Nafdac said, they made it public that they are going to do this. Enforcement now becomes, how do they go around and make sure that people who are producing these things no longer produce, and how are they going to seize and forfeit and all of that and bring legal consequences to the people that are manufacturing what is now prohibited. But the common man needs also to be educated, needs to be informed about almost all the things I've said. What are the health consequences? How is it dangerous? How is it which is fantastic. But please, I need you to understand that with alcohol, as with tobacco, there is the issue of addiction. And addiction, let me speak pidgin, no they hear word. Addiction does not accept or listen to health education. An addiction is a situation where the person almost cannot help but take something that gives him or her an experience they will not have if they don't take it. So you have the man on the street saying, I can't even function if I don't drink this thing in a day. Why does Nafdac want to pour Sansan in my Gary? Because they are addicted. Very simple. And you can preach and teach and speak and counsel from now to tomorrow. If that is all you do, somebody who's addicted will not stop. There has to be an enforcement of a consequence for addiction, or a commitment to treatment for addiction to stop. Something that alters your state of consciousness and affects the way you view the world and de-inhibits. What that means is that anything that told you is wrong to do this, when you take some of these substances, alcohol, drugs, you lose the sense of right and wrong. And you are able to do things that in your normal state you will never consider. You will not be able to do, even if you've thought about it, you will not be able to do. So many people, before they go and commit a crime, get high. Either they take drugs or they take alcohol and all of that. You know, most times victims of rape were either drugged or they had been intoxicated by alcohol. That's a textbook way of getting somebody in a compromising situation. And it is now used as a weapon against people. Some people inflict themselves with this dangerous weapon and take it, thinking that, they are going to use it as, I want to be. If you talk to university students, they take some of these substances because it will open my brain. I'll be able to read. Or if anybody wants to come and attack me or harm me, I need to be bold to be able to fight the person back. What you do not understand is that once you start it, your need for it will continue. The atrocious actions you will be able to take will increase until you find yourself making a mistake or doing something that you will regret for the rest of your life. Jail time is there. You can be killed. You can get HIV or an STI and all of that. So I think it's just to promote the fact that people should have sense and think about the consequences of their actions. If you know something has the potential to destroy your life, you won't come near it in any way, shape or form. Don't lie to yourself that, nothing, I can take it and I will still be able to control myself. You may not be able to control yourself. And when that negative thing happens, you may not be able to take it back or change the consequences. So those are my thoughts about it.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.